Fatal Frame 3, my personal favourite in the series, was released in Japan on July 28, 2005, with the tagline, "Encroaching Fear." It was the last Fatal Frame game for the PlayStation 2, and perhaps surprisingly, the first time we get a character called They. Unlike the first two games, the opening cutscene for 3 is split by a short section of gameplay that also introduces one of my favourite locations from the series, the Manor of Sleep. But let's get right into it and see what, if any, differences exist in the localization.
Ray? Should we get going?
I heard this house was haunted. Too bad it's not.
Rumors are just rumors. I'm gonna load these up.
You?
There's actually not a whole lot of dialogue in the opening cutscene for 3, which I think is fitting for the lonely nature of the game. We're introduced to the accident that killed you, and then we cut forward to the day at work. Turns out Miku from the first game is now her assistant. Miku suggests that they get going, although they seem to have missed the question mark in the subs. They talk briefly about how Day thought the house they're in was haunted, and how she's disappointed it's not. Miku, who's able to see ghosts, of course, plays it off with a little "rumors are just rumors," and tells Day that she's going to load up the car. But how does all of this play out in Japanese?
ん。そろそろ引き上げましょう。
幽霊屋敷って聞いてたけど、何も出なくて残念ね。
噂なんてそんなものです。これ積んできますね。
One of the first things we can see in the Japanese, which is very difficult to portray in English, is that Miku calls Rei Rei-san. Clearly they're close, because she doesn't call her by her last name, but she still attaches the san suffix. Rei is her senior, after all, so she's very polite when she speaks to her. Miku continues to speak to Rei with polite Japanese, while Rei speaks to her more casually. The relationship is immediately established. Miku says, "Soro soro hikiagemashou," which we could translate more literally to, "Let's retire," "Let's withdraw," "Let's return home soon." Like the lack of question mark in the English subs, this is less of a request and more of a polite suggestion. Hikiagemashou. Let's head back. Rei continues with, "Yurei yashiki te kiite kedo." I heard this place was a ghost house. I heard this place was a ghost mansion. Yurei yashiki means haunted house, but if you break it down literally, it means ghost residence or ghost mansion. Nani mo denakute zannen ne. It's a pity nothing came out. It's a pity nothing appeared. The English version gives us a less clunky version of this. I heard this house was haunted. Too bad it's not. A slight difference, but nothing major. Miku then replies with, "Uwasa nante sonna mono desu." That's what rumors are. Or more literally, rumors are that sort of thing. If you hear a rumor about something, it's probably not true, and that's why it's a rumor in the first place. All of this is summed up in the English version with the far less clunky, rumors are just rumors. She then grabs the equipment and tells Rei, "Kore sundekimasu ne." Literally, I'll load this in the car. Same as the English. The cutscene breaks shortly after Rei spies Yu in the distance, and the player briefly takes control. It's interesting to note that there's a little girl during this part who, in English, screams out,
"Stay here forever,"
when you pass by. The Japanese uses the exact same phrase. "Zutto koko ni ite." After emerging from the manor, the game continues with the opening cinematic.
Are you okay? Oh, it was nothing.
It clearly wasn't nothing, but let's take a look at the Japanese.
レイさんどうかしたんですか？
ごめん。
Again, Rei-san. どうかしたんですか? What's wrong? Is something wrong? Did something happen? This is a slightly more formal way of asking if she's okay, which is fitting with Miku's polite language towards Rei. Rei answers with, ごめん. In the English, she brushes it off. Oh, it was nothing. In the Japanese, she merely apologizes. Is something wrong? No, I'm sorry. She's apologizing for worrying Miku, rather than brushing it off as nothing. And that's it. The Fatal Frame 3 opening is much longer than the first two games, thanks to the small section of gameplay in the middle, but it doesn't feature a whole lot of talking either. It sets the mood perfectly for the game, however, which is very much about isolation, loss, and loneliness. The lack of dialogue also means there isn't a huge difference between what we get in English and Japanese, other than the very small nuances and some of the Japanese relationship dynamics at play in the words. And that also brings us to the end of the Fatal Frame opening comparisons. 4, of course, was never released in English, and the opening cinematic for 5 is pretty much silence, other than a single line, "Where am I?" and then teaching you how to play the game on a new system. I am hoping to look at the other cutscenes, and even files within the games, so if that's something you're interested in, then let me know. Thanks guys, and I'll see you again next time.